I'm sick as hell, and this is my messy craft table. I have been recently cleaning up my craft room, and my craft table usually gets messy, but this year has probably been one of the hardest years of my life, and I know it probably has for you as well. So my craft room got a little out of hand, mostly because I didn't want my cats eating any of my projects, so whenever I couldn't finish one, I just kind of threw it in here. And after like 8 months of that, it became a tornado. But regardless of that, I decided, since usually when I'm sick, there's not too much I can do. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to craft before my sickness gets any potentially worse. So let's get started. I found this hat about 5 months ago at a bins. I think it was from the St. Petersburg bins, if I'm not mistaken. And the lighting is so weird right now, but this is the hat. And I saw recently these like inspiration pictures of putting buttons on hats. So I'm gonna use some of the buttons that are just laying out on this table. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through and until I get too tired to the point where I can't craft anymore. God, this is gonna be like hell to edit. Do we have thread? And yeah, my goal is to use up as much of what is actually on the table, and I'm not going to pull out new stuff because that defeats the purpose of this. And I don't know if anyone is even interested in seeing these kinds of videos, but that doesn't matter. And the thread that was chosen for me by the table was red thread, and this is just like some extra cut off thread, but it is enough for like one button, so we're gonna go with it. And when I saw these hats, I saw them like 2 days ago, and I knew, because I have a box of like clothing and stuff that I want to use for thrift flips, and the box is quite big. So whenever I see something that I can actually do with it, I'm like, oh my god, I have this. I have this, and it's going to work perfectly. And I ran to go get it, and I'm just really excited. I've been thinking about doing this for a few days now. And now I will have a permanent piece in my collection. So I have a few buttons here, and I'm going to try to use all metal buttons because I'm weird about that. I want to try to get everything plastic free if I can, that I am wearing. But we got this hat. We got, I don't know if it's gonna, this button. Yeah, usually when I get sick, and I do think it's the C word sick, it's the one you're thinking of. But usually when that happens, which happens to me about once a year, this is twice this year. Last time I ended up sick and couldn't get out of bed for 2 months, but I had about a period of 5 days where I was sick like this at the very beginning, and I could still do like some basic things. So I'm really hoping that this is the extent of it and it does not get to that again, but if it does, at least we'll have a cool hat. Because you know, that's exactly what you need when you're super sick, is a cool hat. You need a sick hat to match how sick you are. I'm gonna start sewing it. I'm gonna put it right here. I think that'll be a good spot for it. I don't know if there's any specific thread you need for buttons. I did learn recently that for beading, you're supposed to use a beading needle, which I have never done, but I've been super into doing beads lately in any format. It honestly, like, it does not matter what format they're in. But yeah, I am just sewing this button on to the best of my ability. And yeah, this really is like a raccoon thing to do, because it's just scavenging amongst your own messes. But we have the first button on the hat. I think it looks really cool so far. So I sorted and sewed on buttons for about 3 hours. And you might think I'm saying stuff there because you can see my mouth moving, but really I'm just mouth breathing because I can't breathe out of my nose. I think it looks pretty cool so far. I'm trying to use a different color thread, but I realize now that I'm working with pretty much only cotton threads, it's very hard to thrift, especially the colors. I did get this box of vintage threads at the bins, but the thing about vintage threads is sometimes they're not as strong. So I do have to do quite a bit of sewing around each button. But I think it's looking pretty cool. I have some more buttons on the table that I'd like to use. And I think any buttons that are plastic, even if they are really pretty, I really am trying to break away from using plastic as much as possible. Because I still want to make things that are fun and colorful and nice, but still using natural materials, which seems to be a huge challenge. Like right now, I am currently taking a sewing class, and I'm trying to make a 1950s formal dress with a pattern from the 50s. I got lucky enough that it was actually in my size, and I'm trying to make everything out of 100% natural materials. That means the thread, the zipper is cotton and metal, which is very hard to find at this point because most of them are nylon, as well as any of the other things that you might need. And the material is a metallic cotton, so it is 90-something% cotton and like 5% metal, which I think that the only place you can find that is specialty fabric stores anymore. So I just tie it off really well. And this is one of my newer threads. I got this when Joann's was closing. This amongst like a few other just white threads. But I'm going to cover this entire hat, and since I don't want this video to be just the hat because I don't feel well enough to just make a crafting kind of tutorial video, I just kind of want to do whatever, I'm going to just see you guys when it's all done, and we'll move on to the next craft after that. So it's been about 2 hours, and this is what I have so far. I have started pinning on buttons, and I forgot that things go quite a bit slower when I don't feel well, but honestly this would probably take a lot of time anyway because I'm hand stitching them on. I'm adding some embroidery, and I don't even know if I'm gonna get this done today. Honestly, I'm not gonna rush myself on it, but I think it's looking pretty good so far. I still have more colors to do, but I think it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go and get some medicine and eat lunch. And I might finish it today. I don't know. You guys will know because you guys will be seeing the video. So yeah. Alright, so I'm back. I took Sudafed and Mucinex or something, and I feel worse, which means it's probably doing its job and I just would be much worse anyway. So I got myself a test and we're gonna do it to find out. Alright. Thankfully, I don't have to use the app because I don't want to. I don't want to download another app. One, two, push it through, turn spots right 3 times. All right, so we wait 15 minutes. I will see you guys back here in 15 minutes. It was negative, thankfully, but while I was waiting, I decided to use some of the sequins and rhinestones on my desk, and I actually found these packs of ornaments on someone's lawn. They were trashing them, and of course I got permission. If you do get stuff from like curb alerts or the trash, definitely ask permission beforehand, just because you don't know if someone's just leaving it out to like dry in the sun or something. But in this case, this person had a sign that said free please take, so I free please took. And I had a bunch of sequins lying all over my desk because I was taking them off of a costume about 4 months ago because I wanted the silk that was the costume was made out of. It was a tiny ballerina costume. So I had a bunch all over my desk, and I'm gonna cover this ornament in its entirety, and as well as getting all of the rest of the rhinestones off my desk. We're making both of these ornaments, and these are gonna look lovely on my tree. I'm super excited to show you guys the tree, but I'm not gonna do it right now. I got the tree back in February at a thrift store, and I have been waiting all year I've been wanting a wooden Christmas tree for about 5 years now. And I finally found one. It was $5 at the thrift store. And it was a bit smaller than what I wanted. I think I eventually am going to make a large one as well and then just have 2 trees. But honestly, I am very happy with it, and it is drying up there. I did oil paint it because the oil paint just looks so rich and so nice. But I'm not going to be doing any oil painting because I don't think that the oil paint fumes are going to be good for me being sick right now. But yeah, I'm just taking my little picker-upper here, and I'm going and looking all over my desk, seeing where the sequins are, and hoping that there's enough to cover this entire thing. I'm also hoping that that means that I don't have to pick them up after, because they'll be all used. Because the costume had quite a bit of sequins on it. And if you're gonna ask what happened to the costume, I did not finish the project I was thinking I was gonna finish with it. I wanted to make a bunch of silk flowers, kind of like how they make silk flowers in the New York fabric district. And you're gonna be hearing me talk a lot about that in like the next few months because I've just been like looking at it so much. I just think it's so cool that there's actually like a whole place just for fashion and fabrics. And I've been really big into clothing design and fashion for a long time, like a long time. I think starting in like middle school. So well over half my life. And I finally have the space to do that. As well as the fact that when I did help that woman clean out her sister's house after she died, I was able to take quite a bit of this woman's fabric collection, and that's what I'm making the dress from the sewing class with. There was just so much beautiful fabrics, and I am like eternally grateful for the fact that I was able to have those. And it was also just like, that is not why I helped. I helped because I saw that this lady was overwhelmed and she looks like she needed help. And honestly, I know grief can be a big thing, and I wouldn't want anyone to have to go through that alone. But I will say, having the fabric and all of the wonderful art supplies that were going to be tossed anyway given to me was one of the most wonderful gifts I could ever have received. But yeah, so I'm just adding these on, and oh yeah, the test was negative. I think I already said that though. I am very dazed today. I don't know if I'm gonna finish any one of these projects today. I'm hoping I feel a little better tomorrow. Yeah, this is so pretty. I'm very happy with it. And I know that these sequins are plastic, but sometimes I will make exceptions, especially since it's not fabric. And these were already on something that I was using, so I don't think something that's going to be on a tree is going to be shedding a lot of microplastics. The biggest concerns with that are if it's something that you're eating off of or something that you are going to be putting in the washing machine. And yeah, and then I just pick like a random pink or purple rhinestone, something in that color family. And since there's a little bit of extra glue, I just put it in the dot of glue. And hopefully these stay, which is okay. I'm also trying to use up this glue because it's getting dry. So I'm hoping I can use it before it's like completely dried out. I am so knocked out. You ever just start something and then you're like, why did I do this? Because now this is gonna take like 6 hours. But it is slowly clearing off this table, and that's what I wanted. As well as I found all of these old glue caps, and I put some glue in the top. Let me see if you guys can see that. Because I have a few of these wooden houses and they do light up. And I want to put them as like kind of a Christmas village. I got them 2 years ago at a thrift store for like $2 each. And I thought I would paint them and use like recycled materials to make a Christmas village. So I thought these would be really cute as like gumdrops if I covered them in either paint or rhinestones. I think rhinestones would add extra sparkle, so I think I'm gonna go that direction. I think the Sudafed's finally kicking in like 4 hours later. Either that or I'm starting to feel better. I am not super hopeful about the latter, but we can hope. We can definitely have hope for that. But yeah, I think that this is looking really cool so far. I found a few green sequins. This kind of reminds me of those ornaments that are the vintage ones, and the vintage ones have like the pins in them, but I have cats and I don't really want to have pins where they can just, you know, kind of tear it apart, because that's very actually evil for cats to eat and illegal. I think I'm done with this one for today, honestly. This one is just a lot. All of this is a lot, and I am very tired. I spent today sewing buttons on a hat and doing rhinestones, and I'm completely knocked out, but that's what happens when you're sick. Yeah, so I think I got most of the sequins off of the desk, which means that I need to start scouring the floor for them. I don't know if I want to do that, but I'm gonna try. You know, I really did want something that would use all of these sequins, and I actually have been scrounging the floor for a little bit. I'm running out of places to scrounge for these, which means I successfully probably have used almost all of them. At least 90%, so I consider this ornament a huge success because these things were annoying me so much in the past, like, 4 months. So I'm very happy about that. And I still have a little bit of space left on here. But I am more than okay with that because I have a little bit of sequins left. And I like using up every little bit of stuff, so this is definitely a win. I still have a lot of work left to do with all the rhinestones and random beads on my desk. And I'm going to finish the button hat, whether it be today or tomorrow. I do know I want to finish that button hat so bad. If you're wondering how I've gotten a lot of my art supplies, either like on the side of the road or thrifted, it really is just persistence and extreme patience. Like, there are times where I will literally wait for months, a year, maybe even years for something because I just will not want to buy it new. And there's also times where I will buy things new, like if I need glue that badly, I will buy it new. But for little surprise things like sequins, buttons, stuff like that, I really do prefer to get it used because the vintage stuff usually is cooler to me. And a lot of the craft stores now seem to have mostly plastic stuff. I'm saying this as I'm using plastic sequins, but that's besides the point. But to me, that's beautiful. And once I open up, just look how shiny that is. It's like I don't even need to put on the rhinestones, but I am gonna put on rhinestones. Let me see. Sequins, hello. Like, I am in the home stretch with these sequins, guys. Like, it's crazy. And I am just looking for them. But yeah, this is definitely like my terrible definition of cleaning, is just using up the random scraps. That's what I do in the kitchen every week. I have a day where I call it cleaning the kitchen, but it really is just emptying out the fridge of the stuff that's about to go bad and cooking as many things as possible with it, which sometimes makes the kitchen cleaner, sometimes it makes it worse, but you know. A reduction of food waste overall is a good thing. A reduction of crafting waste is a good thing. And I think that as crafters, it's kind of our responsibility to try to use our scraps and try to use everything and really honor the materials that we have. And I'm going to find enough sequins if it is the last thing I do. Well, I won't be sequining. That's what I won't be doing. We almost done with this. and I will finish that, but honestly, I think that's gonna be it for today, because I know the Sudafed's working as well as it can right now. Don't know how long it's gonna last. I forgot there was pins in there. You know you're insane when you find 4 sequins on the floor and think that you've like won the life lottery or something. 1 in there. Please don't be 1 short. 1 in there. And no, we are still short by quite a bit. Maybe I can use the mini ones. Let's use the mini ones. It's not going to give the exact same effect, but it's close enough, and that's what I have right now. I have a lot of these little tiny baby sequins, and they're all over the table. Or so I thought. A few are on the table. I need 1 more in here. Like, I actually mean it this time. Last one. Finally, we have the sequined ornament that took forever. I don't even know if I'm gonna go back and add the rest of the rhinestones. I'm exceptionally excited about this. This took me all day. And I love it. I love it so much. So the table is looking as good as it possibly can today. I think I took care of, in between all the crafting and just using the stuff, about half the stuff on the table, which for feeling like I do today is a win. And I think that just like chilling out when you don't feel well is acceptable, and not only acceptable, it should be the norm. I don't think people should have to work through and push through being sick, because that only makes you sicker in the long run. I think we all should learn to take care of ourselves and love ourselves a little bit more. I'm starting to get really tired, and the sun is starting to go down, so in order to get my much needed rest, I think I'm gonna end it here. But I really appreciate you hanging out with me today from a distance. Don't want you to get sick. And I really hope that you're taking care of yourself, especially as we enter 6th season, and taking care of your loved ones and people you don't even know. And we all just need to look out for each other. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. And hopefully I will see you again when I am well. But I hope you have a day just as beautiful as you are. And I love you so very much. All right, friends. Bye.